evening. I would like to call the regular Board of Trustees meeting for the EPCC, April 26, 2022, to order. Anyone that would like to view this meeting can go to a YouTube channel and refer to youtube.com/user/go-EPCC. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Pam, can you take the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Present.
Ms. Sanchez will be joining the meeting later. Dr. Graham.
Present.
Ms. Naheda.
Here.
Mr. Haggerty.
Present.
And Ms. Pena will also not be joining us this evening.
Okay. Dr. Amaya, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Pam, 1.4.
Item 1.4, approval of minutes. These are for the minutes of February 23rd, 2022.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Call the question?
Mrs. Robles.
Yes.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting this evening. Pam, do we have anybody that wants to speak in open forum?
We have not received any sign-in forms, sir.
Okay. Do we have any presentations for anybody?
The presentations will fall under, Dr. Sarata will lead off the presentations with item 1.7.1.
I thought we were going to go to 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, or organizations.
Item 1.7.1, Dr. William Sarata, college president, will recognize individuals who retired from the college district. We do not have any retirees this evening, sir. Optional, item 1.7.2, optional presentations will be made by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association. I know that Dr. Burnham is here and ready to speak. Okay, no?
Flip a coin.
Laura, that's it.
Good evening, Chair Haggerty, members of the board, President Serrata, staff, and guests. I'm Laura Gaither. I'm sure you already know that. President of CSA. It is welcoming to see that our working environments are transitioning to normal conditions. For instance, we appreciate Dr. Serrata's presence at each campus while delivering the President's Town Hall meetings. I was able to attend the presentation at the Northwest Campus, and I'm glad to hear of the possibility that employees may receive another work incentive. I am hopeful and ask that the board consider and approve the incentive, which would greatly benefit employees while we juggle our budgets amidst the continued rising prices of essential goods and gas. As we celebrate Community College Month, classified staff employees remain committed to go above and beyond to ensure that our institution provides students the best experience they can have at a community college. In spite of pandemic setbacks, their daily efforts, along with the rest of the EPCC family, continue to positively impact our community. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the administration and Dr. Serrata for supporting EPCC's 29th Annual Staff Development Retreat held at the Plaza Hotel in downtown El Paso. The professional development opportunity attended by several classified and professional staff members, including myself and a few CSA council members, was a great networking experience. It gave us the opportunity to meet and develop professional relationships with colleagues throughout the district. The planning and coordinating efforts of Alex Hernandez and the retreat facilitation team are to be commended. To conclude, I would also like to thank our CSA Council for approving a donation in the amount of $200 worth of items to the annual staff development retreat and $300 worth of items to the EPCC Service Learning Program in support of their supply and food drive to assist the Centro de los Trabajadores Agrícolas Fronterizos. We hope our contribution makes a difference, and we encourage other associations and employees to contribute as well. As always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, Albert Burnham, President of the Faculty Association. Members of the board, Mr. President, Vice Presidents, Deans, guests in the room, those watching in cyberspace. To quote the great American patriot Thomas Paine in The American Crisis #1, these are the times that try men's souls. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's latest assault on higher education in Texas is on pages 12 and 13 in his 2022 interim legislative charges. Last February, Patrick announced his attack on tenure by stating he will start by eliminating tenure for new hires and eventually totally abolish tenure. In his legislative charges, Patrick has now declared war on faculty senates and how U.S. history is taught. On page 12 of his legislative charges, under the faculty tenure section, Patrick reveals his plan for faculty senates across Texas. He wants to, quote, examine the roles of faculty senates in representing faculty interests to the institution administration. And he wants to, quote, make recommendations on establishing guidelines and for the role and representation of faculty senates at higher education institutions in Texas. In other words, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas wants to establish his own will on faculty senates in all Texas public colleges and universities. And he wants to determine who can and cannot be on faculty senates and what faculty senates can and cannot say and do. At EPCC, candidates for faculty senate are nominated, an election takes place, and the winners are decided. It is democracy in action. Dan Patrick seeks to take that away from us and make our faculty senate dependent on his whims. In the strengthening U.S. history requirements section of his legislative charges, Patrick wants to, quote, examine current course requirements for students in United States history and ensure elements of critical race theory are not currently included in course curriculum. Consider and recommend methods to ensure students receive accurate historical information related to the founding and establishment of the United States. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a blatant attack on academic freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and perhaps most of all, the truth. If Patrick gets his way, he will be the one telling us what we can and cannot teach and say in the classroom, and what we can and cannot assign regarding U.S. history. He will also tell us how we are supposed to teach his version of U.S. history. For all who digress from his completely biased version, they will find themselves out of a job, as I refer you back to how he wants to overhaul and eliminate tenure. In the past, Dan Patrick and his political party have claimed to be the party of small government and the party of local control, such as the EPCC Board of Trustees over schools. Now, however, Patrick and his party want government to interfere in and control everything that goes on in Texas public colleges and universities, including faculty senates and classrooms. We must fight Dan Patrick's dictatorial attempt to overthrow our beloved EPCC and our duly elected faculty senate. If Dan Patrick wants a lesson in the truth of American history, I now give him one. To paraphrase the Texas Declaration of Independence of March 2, 1836, and I quote, when a government has ceased to protect the lives, liberty, and property of the people for whom its legitimate powers are derived, and for the advancement of whose happiness was instituted, in such crisis, it is the inherent and inalienable rights of the people to abolish such government and create another in its stead, calculated to rescue them from impending dangers and to secure their future welfare and happiness. Dan Patrick and his minions must be removed from office. Another lesson in the truth of American history for Dan Patrick. This time I paraphrase the Declaration of Independence. A lieutenant governor whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the elected official of a free people. And finally, to again quote Thomas Paine, I love this quote, tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us. At the heart of the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. I would hope that the EPCC Board of Trustees stands behind the Faculty Senate, stands behind academic freedom, stands behind freedom of speech, stands behind the faculty duly elected Senate. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for the history lesson. Enjoyed it. Okay. Anyone else, Ben? Anybody from student government? Nobody from student government? Communications?
Item 1.8, Communications. Item 1.8.1, Discussion and Review by the Board of Trustees of Data, Statistics, Policies, and General Information related to the College District.
Chair Haggerty, we have Dr. Moe who will provide an update on Grants Management Office, the great work that they lead. And so Dr. Moe, please take it away. Dr. Moe is our Associate Vice President for External Relations, Communications, and Development. Please, Dr. Moe.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here this evening to give you an overview on the Grants Management Office and how the Grants Management Office works to support EPCC's mission and vision. Usually every month we bring to you a board abstract that has details about specific grants, but tonight I want to kind of give you a general overview about how grants impact the college. The Grants Management Office is charged with identifying sources of external funding to support the college's strategic plan. And this could be anything from contracts, grants, and cooperative agreements from both public and private sources. We inform the college community of funding opportunities and assist with preparing and submitting the applications to potential funders. And then once a grant is awarded, the Grants Management Office works with the principal investigator to ensure that we're in compliance with the award, that reporting and everything that is required by the funder is completed. So if you take a look at the chart in front of you, you'll see a historical overview of the grants submitted over the past decade. The orange chart is the number of grants that were submitted per year, and then the number that were awarded. On average, we submit approximately 65 applications annually, and we have an average 75.2% acceptance rate. So we're very proud that not only are we submitting quite a few applications, the vast majority are getting funded, which ultimately makes a difference for the programs we're able to offer to our students. We're able to expand course offerings and opportunities which enhance our instruction. And the next chart also looks at the past decade. On average, you'll see we get almost between $7 and $9 million each year in applications that are grant funded. If you look in 2020 and 2021, you'll see that number is much higher due to the higher education HERF funds that we received that were also used for students. And you can see the amount we received both by applications and then the additional amount that we received as a result of the HERF funding. And I'm proud to share that as of April 1st of this year, we've already secured more than $8 million of funded grants, which will definitely have an impact on our students. We have an active grant caseload at any given time, and grants don't always begin and end with our fiscal year. Several awards are for multiple years, and at any given time, there's an average of 75 active awards that are being implemented throughout the college. So it's always ongoing, and there is significant impact. The sources of our grant funding are from federal, state, foundations, corporate, nonprofit, partnerships with universities, colleges, and then other government sources. And you can see over the past decade, the majority of our grant funding is coming from federal and state sources. And again, we are always looking at different partners and different opportunities that will help support our strategic plan and help us reach the mission and vision of the college as we're looking at different sources. And to give you an example of some of the funding sources, here on this list are some of the sources we get federal funds from. For example, the Department of Education. Some of our early alert programs were funded by that. Our campus grant, that is the grant that provides childcare, that's from the Department of Education. And these are just two. We get funding from the Department of Defense with our Contract Opportunity Center. The National Endowment for the Humanities has provided Humanities Connection Planning grants and other funding. And then the National Institute of Health. And what's remarkable, many times community colleges don't always get this federal funding, but EPCC has had a strong track record of getting funding from federal sources. State grants are another important area where we get funding from. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board has provided student mentoring programs as well as several other grant-funded activities. The Texas Workforce Commission funds a variety of apprenticeship programs, Project Hire, which serves our disabled students. So all of this works in conjunction with the programs we have and helps us expand programs and give more opportunities to students and help faculty make ideas a reality to provide learning opportunities for students in classrooms and programs. We also receive a significant amount of funding from Carl Perkins, which is also from the Texas Higher Education Board. And this supports a lot of career and technical education. And you can see over the past decade, we've received more than $500,000 each year to support these programs and efforts. Foundations and nonprofits are another place the Grants Management Office applies for funding. For example, Texas Mutual Insurance provides funding for workforce safety programs. The Prudential Foundation provides programming for students in math and IT. Youth Services America is a foundation that helps support after-school programming. The Andrew W. Mellon Foundation has supported an important initiative between faculty at EPCC and UTEP for students in the humanities. So they start their education at EPCC and continue to pursue an education in the humanities at the University of Texas at El Paso. We have the El Paso Community Foundation, who supports the school store and helps build our college-going culture with school supplies for youth in our community. And then many of our grants are partnerships with other colleges and universities. We have many with UTEP, our Bridges to Baccalaureate program, the Alliance for Minority Participation, STEM Fuerte, which was formerly STEM Grow, which provides many opportunities for students to pursue careers in biology, math, and engineering. And then another example would be our Small Business Development Center, which is a partnership through the University of Texas at San Antonio. And for each of these funding sources, these are just a few examples so you can see the big umbrella that our Grants Management Office oversees to help provide these opportunities. Other government grants are from the school districts, for example, our EMT programs. The city of El Paso has a strong partnership and provides funding for the Northwest Community Library, which offers programming not only for our students, but the community as well. The Institute for Mexicans Abroad provides many grant opportunities to help our international students. And so the benefits of grant funding are very far-reaching. They obviously promote student success and EPCC's mission and vision. You can see there's an economic impact on the college and the community. It impacts our payroll, our contracts, travel, equipment. It directly translates to programs and opportunities for students. So without these funds, we wouldn't be able to offer as much for our students. So it's very important that we are able to have these efforts to reach our strategic vision and mission. Other benefits of grant funding is it creates, expands, and develops programs and projects that provide opportunities for students. That's the most important benefit. It also elevates EPCC in the community. When we're awarded these grants, we are able to show the community what we're doing. On the right-hand side of that slide, you can see some headlines that we've gotten because of the grants that we've received. The Community College Daily is a national publication, and it highlighted our welding programs and partnerships with the independent school districts. Microsoft has expanded our cybersecurity offerings, which is one of the high-paying jobs that students can get. So it's really important that we're able to showcase the student success that comes out of this, as well as the programs we're able to offer. And then the faculty and student engagement and success it provides is really priceless. You can't put a dollar amount on that. And what's important to note is that while the Grants Management Office is driving a lot of this, this could not be done without commitment district-wide. Grant impact and participation is a college-wide effort. We have administrators, faculty, and staff who are implementing these programs. They're serving as principal investigators and working directly with the students. And so it's truly a team effort, and we couldn't do it without the college-wide support. And with that, I want to thank the Grants Management Office, the team led by Mr. Bob Elliott, the grants managers, and the grants specialists who really help direct us to the funding opportunities, provide guidance, and ensure that our applications and proposals are competitive and we achieve success in the funding that we apply for. So with that, are there any questions?
Yeah, Carrie, Dr. Moe?
Yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
this is
Uxer.
John. This is John Uxer. That one slide where you broke it up, the application of the grants, the total like for equipment and for contractual work and those things. That one particular slide, could you make extract that and send it out, at least to me, as a spreadsheet?
Yes, we can definitely do that.
Thank you.
I don't think I have any questions. Thank you. Keep writing. Write some more.
Thank you.
Just on this agenda alone, we have proposed to approve a total of $1,418,318 of grants. So you're doing a great job with the grants.
Very good. Okay, anything else you got, Doc?
1.9.
1.9.
Item 1.9, Board of Trustees Business. Items 1.9.1 through 1.9.4 will be addressed after executive session. Item 1.9.5, discussion and take possible action regarding the resolution authorizing the delegation of certain authority to Dr. William Serrata, College President, regarding the COVID-19 pandemic.
No action on
No
this one.
action.
Okay. Item 1.10, Board Reports. Item 1.10.1, Treasurer's Report. No action is necessary at this time. Item 1.10.2, President's Report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. William Serrata, College President, will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college to include an update on the COVID-19 pandemic and appropriate actions taken.
Chair Haggerty and members of the board, always a pleasure to provide an update with regards to the college's initiatives focused on student success, as well as providing an update on the pandemic. EPCC received news late last week that we have received an additional $1 million allocation from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board for the Texas Reskilling Grant. To date, 1,407 students have benefited from the grant in Round 1 and Round 2. As of spring 2022, a total of $1,305,271.34 has been paid towards tuition and fees. EPCC has been the model for the state in getting these funds out to students. The EPCC reskilling team, under the direction of Ms. Ines Lopez, Financial Aid Executive Director, has continuously met with the coordinating board and provided feedbacks and suggestions. EPCC became the pioneer of several program changes that allowed us to award additional funds to our students as well as other participating schools. So in total, we'll have received $2.3 million to help students who have left without earning a credential. So thrilled with the great work that Ms. Lopez and her team do under the leadership of Dr. Amaya. Students and instructors in the surgical technology program were trained in the use of LapSim, a virtual reality laparoscopy trainer. LapSim is an advanced simulator with detailed graphics, haptic feedback, and a new and intuitive interface. It provides a rich and immersive multi-sensory training experience unmatched in the VR simulation market. The key training elements of LapSim are realistic laparoscopic view and environment instrument movements and developing workspace and awareness. The outcome-based program will achieve student competencies and train safely away from the patient to gain confidence before going into the operating room. The college hosted the Spring 2022 Dual Credit Forum on April 19th. The focus of this virtual event, which brought together 75 college and high school participants, was the upcoming SAC-COC reaffirmation visit. Our dual credit partners play a crucial role in our ability to grant college credit to all students in the region. Topics such as college course oversight, student resources, and faculty credentials were discussed and recorded for those who could not attend. Special thanks to Ms. Sue Selk and Lorena Gonzalez, our dual credit instructional coordinators, and Alaya Cáceres, our program coordinator, for organizing the event. Dean Badillo, thank you for the great work leading the dual credit efforts for the college. At EPCC, we always try to provide our students with the best resources and opportunities. Networking at events is an excellent way for them to learn and get informed. On April 20th, the Transportation Training Center hosted Ford Day. 2 Ford dealerships and a Ford corporate representative conducted a workshop for 60 students, including the P-Tech students from Clint High School. Casa Ford has also committed to working with EPCC automotive students to provide industry certification and internship opportunities. Special thanks to the automotive technology faculty and staff, program coordinator Mr. Eliano Willers, and the division dean Dr. Marcia Pagel for putting this event together. EPCC officially opened the doors of the Arts, Science, and Technology, our AST building at the Valle Verde campus, celebrated with a grand opening celebration on Thursday, April 14th. Thank you, Dr. Graham, Mrs. Robles, Mr. Haggerty, for attending the opening of the 5th building of our master plan. Besides additional labs and classrooms at the AST, a large community engagement space will promote interactive learning, accommodating everything from lectures to performances to guest speakers and special events. We're excited to see the growth in our community with the opening of another building. Kayla Talavera, EPCC student athlete, received a $500 scholarship from Run El Paso. Run El Paso is a loose, friendly organization of people from the border area who share a common love of running. They have training runs every day of the week, occasionally sponsor races, and support each other in long-distance running goals. Runners range in ability and age, from beginners to regional stars, from children running their first 5K to experienced veterans who've logged more than 100 marathons. Talavera is a first-year EPCC student athlete that runs for the EPCC cross-country and half-marathon teams while maintaining a 3.7 GPA. Congratulations. The Association of Women in Community Colleges at EPCC has partnered with the EPCC Foundation to award the first of their 6 annual scholarships. In total, the AWCC will award 6 $750 scholarships to deserving students. The first scholarship announced is being matched by the EPCC Foundation to assist Alejandra Carrillo, a single mother and student. Alejandra's AWCC scholarship will be dispersed in summer 2022 to accelerate her academic journey and take summer classes. April is Community College Month, and the External Relations and Marketing team has been busy sharing the EPCC story and the important role of community colleges. We have showcased student stories and testimonials, as well as highlighted faculty and program accomplishments. If you've driven by San Jacinto Plaza downtown, the building is lit up teal and purple in recognition of El Paso Community College. Community College Month is an opportune time to showcase the importance of EPCC in our region. We celebrated Community College Month by attending high schools in our area for Operation College Bound, registering high school seniors, and answering any questions or concerns they may have. Up to date, our counselors and staff have visited 17 high schools this month. Thank you to everyone that was a part of these fantastic events, Dr. Maya and his team leading that. In addition, I completed a series of town hall meetings at each campus, starting April 19th and finishing up today on the 26th. Some were held in the new buildings, and I was so glad to see faculty and staff present at each campus. It was good to see everyone in person. We also, you see in front of you, we have a small token of appreciation for each of our trustees. Mr. Uxers, yours is on its way. To celebrate all that you do for the college this month and all year long. So please accept that in recognition of Community College Month to our trustees. Ms. Abigail Velez has won the title of Miss San Antonio 2022. Ms. Velez is a communication and arts major at the University of Incarnate Word and an EPCC graduate. She made her professional anchoring debut a year ago on The Rundown, a twice a week show streaming on the All in El Paso network. Ms. Velez, who is concentrating in multimedia with a journalism emphasis, was contacted by network representatives who came across her online portfolio, which included stories she had written for the logos and video packages for news and features she had worked on for the University of Incarnate Word TV, all done remotely from El Paso. Since the last board meeting, I participated in just over 70 virtual and in-person meetings. I participated in 7 Texas Association of Community College meetings, a regional workforce and educational partnership meeting, which we hosted here at EPCC, filmed an interview for TACC regarding the association's commitment to increasing the workforce and labor needs for the state, presided over a TAC CEO-only meeting. We held 2 TAC officers meetings, led 2 executive committee meetings, and participated in a legislative committee meeting. We have now received approval from the executive committee and the legislative committee on our recommendations to the full board, and we will seek approval tomorrow. Those will then go forward to the Community College Finance Commission. I attended the Trellis Foundation Centering Higher Education in the Quest for Equitable Outcomes for Texans meeting in Austin at the ACC Highland campus. Attended the Aspen Presidential Fellowship, which was held in Virginia. Joined a Digital Texas Coalition meeting with the Texas Broadband Development Office. Attended a Humanities in Texas board meeting in Houston. I participated in an Alice L. Walton Foundation board meeting with Mr. Nate Faulkner. Participated in the annual MCA board meeting with Ms. Emma Swartz. I was able to attend a talent pipeline management spring webinar with members from the TPM National Learning Network. Participated in a healthy learning concept convening at, again, the ACC Highland campus. Attended a doctorate in community college leadership advisory committee meeting. I was able to meet with the new CEO from Del Sol, Mr. Art Garza. Attended the Lumina Foundation board meeting in California. Attended a Future of Work Committee meeting with the Borderplex Alliance. Was able to present at Loma Verde Elementary School for Career Week. Met with Dr. Nate Carmen, the new superintendent for Socorro Independent School District. Attended an El Paso branch of the Dallas Federal Reserve Board meeting. Attended the Riverside High School College Bound event that Dr. Amaya and his team led. Met Dr. La Torre at that event as well. Attended a virtual event hosted by the Educational Advisory Board entitled The Great Resignation, Can Community Colleges Win the Talent War? And then now I'd like to provide the board with an update on our COVID and where we are with the pandemic. The 14 days of decreasing cases, we're currently averaging 28 cases per day, which is approximately even with the 27 cases we averaged in the prior 2 weeks, and also right about even with the 26 daily cases that we averaged the 2 weeks prior to that. The rolling 7-day average has been a slight concern as it continues to hover above the recommended 5%. Today was at 9.39%. The cumulative positivity rate is a lagging indicator, and that has remained above 10% despite our cases coming down dramatically. It was at 11.79% today. The infection rate continues to fall, and it seems to have leveled off at less than 30 cases per day, significantly below the 212 cases for a community our size. We currently stand at 80.8% of our population, age 5 or older, being fully vaccinated, and 99.9% of our population having at least received their first vaccination. So to summarize, we continue to see a reduction in the 14 days of decreasing cases. The infection rate and the 7-day rolling average continue to stay slightly above the recommended 5% for the last 2 weeks. The cumulative positivity rate is just above 10%. My recommendation is that we continue in phase 3 of our return to campus plan, which we've been in since Monday, April 11th. As a reminder, phase 3 of our return to campus plan has the college operating at 75% capacity with 100% of staff participating. We will continue to monitor the data and keep the Board of Trustees informed of any recommended changes for your consideration. Chair Haggerty, that concludes my report. I'm happy to respond to any questions from the board.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Serrata. Pam?
Item 1.11, consent docket. This includes item 3.2.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 2.0, administration, there is none. Item 3.1, discussion and action to approve full-time staff and faculty recruited in positions funded by the institutional budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. Do we have a plan for what we do with these employees when the grants run out?
It's a great question, Dr. Graham. So part of any grant is for us to have an opportunity to implement new initiatives, whether they're focused on student success, whether they're focused on improving the quality of instruction that we provide to students. And so ultimately, virtually all of our grants, there is an expectation that we plan for the expiration of those grants. If these initiatives work and we're moving forward and increasing student success, then it's our responsibility as an administration to institutionalize those grants. So that is what we will continue to make an effort to do of institutionalizing them through the staffing plan, Dr. Graham.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 3.3, information items. No action is required. Section 4, financial services. Item 4.1, discussion and action on the approval of contract awards for collection agency services to S&S Recovery Incorporated and Southwest Credit Systems LP.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a question. Is this collecting on bad debts in the college? Is that is just?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Flores certainly can respond to any additional question, but it certainly is for our delinquent accounts receivable.
It's required by the federal government. We try to recoup all our money, correct?
I'm sorry, sir? Yes, we cannot write off those debts unless they've been specifically written off through the HERF funds.
What's our percentage of collections?
Oh, gee, I think Mr. Flores can certainly respond to that.
certainly try. The historical numbers from 2018 through the present that we have with the current collection agencies is about 25.8%, which is very good. And SNS Recovery, which is a recommended vendor, is also the one that we've used most recently.
So the 75% that we don't collect, do we bundle all that and sell it to the highest bidder, or what do we do?
No, sir. The recommendation that you have before you calls for a second vendor that will work the second turn, the second placement. So when the first placement has been worked by the recommended vendor, it goes to the second company that we're recommending.
And what's the percentage on that?
I don't know the percentage for that.
It's new.
But it's much lower because the first company will have worked those receivables exhaustively. And so what the second company receives has already been worked considerably, so it's much lower.
So what happens to the ones that we never get? We just write it off?
Well, we can only work those for 4 years by law, but the college has a policy that says that we cannot provide service to people that are indebted to the district. So what we do, we place a hold on those individuals, and we keep those holds in place.
For only 4 years?
Yes, sir. We've had people that have called back years and years later, and we still have the hold on there, and we've been able to collect years down the road because of that hold.
So even after the 4 years is over, they still have the right to come back and you get it cleared up?
They can still come back and clear that up if they want service from the district. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Naheda?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Section 5, physical facilities, there is none. Section 6, curriculum and instruction. Item 6.1, discussion and action on the acceptance of a grant from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board in an amount not to exceed $136,000. And I would just like to note that there is a slight change on the abstract that appears on page 57, and it is in the address portion only at the bottom of the page.
Move to approve 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3.
Second.
Okay.
Move to approve 6.4 and 6.5.
There's already a motion on the table.
We already have a motion. Let's take care of the first motion. My question is, Mr. Smith, can we kind of get a rundown on what each one of those grants for 130, that 950 looks like a nice one.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to talk a little bit about the grant. So the first grant that from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board is a little bit of an unusual apprenticeship grant. It's actually training pre-apprenticeships. So what we've heard from employers is that they want folks that are already prepared to step into an apprenticeship. So we're going to prepare those clients through a 10-week construction training program. The Mellon grant for the one that Dean Badil is PI on is actually an extension of the Mellon grant. So you might recall we had a 3-year Mellon grant, about the same amount of money approved 3 years ago. And so a little bit unusual here too. You're very familiar with workforce and STEM grants. This one focuses on the humanities and creating pathways for students to get their masters and doctorates, be provided mentorship opportunities through the humanities. Great track record with that grant from us and our UTEP partners. And then the next one is more of a donation than a grant. It's considered a grant, but we're receiving a number of books for the Northwest Community Library. And so congratulations to Dr. Mitchell and Laura Lee Ambrose for getting that donation. They sent me a picture of the book sitting in the warehouse, and it's just crates upon crates of books. So much needed and much appreciated.
Thank you. Any other questions? Call a question.
Let me read the other items, 6.2 and 6.3. Item 6.2, discussion and action on the acceptance of a humanities grant from the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation in the amount of $950,000. And 6.3, discussion and action on the acceptance of a grant from the Molina Foundation in the amount of $215,000. Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Okay, item 6.4, discussion and action on the approval of a 5-year grant from the University of Texas at El Paso in the amount of $79,044.
Move to approve 6.4 and 6.5.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Read 6.5. Yeah.
Item 6.5, discussion and action on the acceptance of a grant from the Texas Workforce Commission in the amount of $37,318.
Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 6.6, discussion and action on the approval of the restated and amended Clint ISD Early College Academy interlocal agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
And there's no items under Section 7, Student Services, or 8, Community Services. Would you like to go into executive session?
Please.
The Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons: consultation with its attorney to seek or receive legal advice, or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation, or for any purpose authorized by law, discussion about the value or transfer of real property, discussion about a prospective gift or donation, consideration of specific personnel matters, discussion about security personnel or devices, or discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Item 1.3.1, discussion with legal counsel regarding the proposed unpaid suspension of an employee in the EPCC Police Department and related matters pursuant to Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Item 1.3.2, discussion with legal counsel regarding the proposed unpaid suspension of an employee in Student and Enrollment Services and related matters pursuant to Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Item 1.3.3, discussion with legal counsel regarding pending litigation styled Daniel Vasquez versus El Paso County Community College District in the 120th Judicial District Court of El Paso County, Texas, cause number 2021 DCV 0212, pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Item 1.3.4, discussion with legal counsel regarding pending litigation styled Martha Quinones versus El Paso County Community College District and Hector Ariola in the 448th Judicial District Court of El Paso County, Texas. Cause number 2018 DCV 2171, pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Item 1.3.5, discussion with legal counsel regarding construction-related agreements for the Rio Grande Campus Project pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code.
Okay, we're back in session, out of executive session, and we are going to cover the remaining items on the board agenda, starting with 1.3.1. Do I have a motion on 1.3.1?
Yeah, we actually go to 1.9.1.
Oh,
Chair Hagerty.
1.9, is that where we're going? Okay, I got it. Okay, do I have a motion on 1.9.1?
No action.
No action taken? Okay. 1.9.2. Do we have any motion on 1.9.2? Is that also?
Let me read the item.
Sure.
Item 1.9.2, discussion and take possible action regarding the proposed unpaid suspension of an employee in the Student and Enrollment Services.
Okay.
You want me to do it? Okay. I move to approve the settlement agreement under the terms as discussed in executive session.
Second?
Is that the right?
That's on point 3.
So for item 1.9.2, this is the conditional motion.
Got it. Never mind. I would like to revise my motion to conditionally approve a disciplinary unpaid suspension of Gabrielle Rodela, an employee in Student and Enrollment Services for good cause for a period of 5 work days, only if Mr. Rodela does not timely request a hearing in accordance with policy DMAA local. And I also further move that the board authorize college administration to implement the unpaid suspension, if any, at the appropriate time. Need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question, Pam.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye. 1.9.3.
Item
Pam?
1.9.3, discussion and take possible action regarding pending litigation styled Daniel Vasquez versus El Paso County Community College District in the 120th Judicial District Court of El Paso County, Texas, cause number 2021 DCV 0212.
I make a motion to accept the recommendation of council to settle as discussed in closed session.
Second?
Any discussion? Call the question, Pam.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Naheda.
Aye.
Mr. Hagerty.
Aye. 1.9.4, Pam.
Item 1.9.4, discussion and take possible action regarding pending litigation styled Martha Quinones versus El Paso County Community College District and Hector Ariola in the 448th Judicial District Court of El Paso County, Texas, cause number 2018 DCV 2171.
No action.
Okay, that's all the items we needed to discuss. Next board meeting will be May the 26th, did we say? 25th.
25th, I believe.
Wednesday.
The 25th.
May 25th, and we may start it at 2 o'clock with a budget workshop at 2.
Regular board meeting at 4:30, sir.
Regular board meeting at 4:30. Hey, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So made.
Do you have a second?
Second?
Everybody that approves the adjournment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? See you next month.